I also love this book, Living a Soulful Life. So I'm going to read from the second half of the book and the dictation section, page 115. So this is the first and part 2, Heartstrings from the Soul of Afra. And the title of this heartstring is Reverence for Life Must Become the Norm upon Earth. Sons and daughters of the light, the bonding of your soul to the divine is your purpose in life. And I come this day to remind you of your purpose. As you have heard, what matters is your bonding to our hearts and not the color of your skin, the texture of your hair, your eyes, your outer form. I was privileged to be the first among my race to ascend back to the heart of the divine, and many more have since transcended the rounds of rebirth. Those of us who are now serving in the higher spheres to which you aspire see all beings through the eyes of the one God, as beloved, as friend, as brother and sister. If unity is to manifest upon the earth, then it must come through the hearts of those who understand the true nature of brotherhood, which is to serve and to grow in the Spirit each day and to accept all as worthy and capable. It is only when you look upon another as less than you that there is division and strife. Some among mankind have more in terms of physical abundance, and yet the inner abundance of the Spirit, the affluence of the heart, is what is important to the Lord of all life. Civilization runs upon the motor of the lives of the sons and daughters of God, of all cultures, nations, and peoples. In recent years, through the advances in your communication systems, news services, and the beaming of messages across the globe through satellite and the internet, the divisions among nations and people should have subsided to the point that people start seeing themselves, no matter what area of the globe they are from, as one people. We are not talking about a United Nations in which the least common denominator of human momentums is spread abroad. Rather, a brotherhood of the Spirit in which the highest common numerator is extolled and expanded, because those of every culture exemplify virtue, honor, and integrity. I call this day for the raising of the consciousness of those in the media and the motion picture industry, whereby they portray to mankind and the youth higher values, ascended master principles of light, and examples of true heroism, where the examples that you see of violence, decadence, and all manner of horror and degradation are simply abominable in the eyes of the ascended hosts and angels, who weep when they see how these transmissions affect the consciousness of the people, especially the impressionable minds of your children. When all people can perceive of themselves as celestial beings, and mothers remind their children of their divine estate through bedtime stories and in their shared family time, then you will see the true culture of freedom and liberty of the Spirit return to planet Earth. I know something about a Golden Age civilization, for I was there in the Sahara with Saint Germain and did see the shining example of a virtuous leader whose every thought process was to extol the divine qualities of the Godhead within the earth itself. I call my people of all nations to a higher road of freedom and unity through the acceptance of the ascended master values. Study, my friends, the true teachings of the universal Great White Brotherhood, for this will do you well in coming to grips with your past and in moving onward into the future of your victory and love. We are heartened to see that the value placed upon the individual in society and the workplace and in many other areas has now brought about a culture of greater acceptance and honor, in which the individual is valued for his or her innate worth as a free-born son or daughter of the Creator. And yet in certain quarters of the globe, not all are valued as equals in the eyes of men. Caste systems exist. Tribal warfare exists. The devaluation of the divine within women exists, and children, who must be valued even above adults during their formative and tender years, are the least valued by those who do not understand life in its fullness. Reverence for life and the valuing of each soul must become the norm upon earth before a golden age, in which the golden rule is the rule, may come. We ask you to determine what changes will be required in your nations and cultures for this to be accomplished. Lay the axe to the root of the problem. Go after the seed of evil that infuses its darkness into the cities and villages and denigrates the value of each one as a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister of light. Pray for true heroes and heroines of the Spirit to rise and to erase this blight upon mankind that has kept all from rising and prevented the seventh root race from fully embodying. How you treat your children will determine the future of civilization. It is very simple. It is not rocket science. How you value their time, their energies, their contribution will determine what your world will look like. If you would see a better society, put your energies and your money into divine education, creating for your children and youth greater opportunities for their self-development, nurturing, and training for worthy jobs, whereby each one may be a recognized and accepted citizen. Looking to the future requires you to deal in the present with the reality of giving your all for the young, who will far transcend you if you allow them to grow fully as they should. Prepare the environment, as Montessori said. Prepare the groundwork in the soil, whereby the seed that is planted and nourished may fully sprout, whereby it may send roots deep into the earth, anchoring it firmly for the day when the upward shoot will rise, and a new life form, enlightened by the sun, will bloom. There are a number of Buddhas living in the earth, even those who have ascended and yet chosen to return to serve mankind. Who among you is one of these? It may be the one sitting next to you, or the one whom you gossiped about in recent days because of the seeming inconsistencies in that one's outward behavior. Judge not another, for you do not know what spark of fire gleams within the breast of that one. When you honor each one as the very flesh and blood of your own being, you will never criticize or condemn another again. Remember, as Micah has said, ye are brethren. I, Afra, also remind you to be your brother's keeper. Pray for one another. Bow to the light within each one when you greet each other upon entering your spiritual centers, in your homes, and even in your communications by email. Begin or end with, I greet thee, O brother, O sister of light, and bow before your divinity this day. You can be victorious when, through full and true acceptance of your own divine nature, you are able to embrace each one as a co-equal in God's heart. I thank you, and I seal you in my great heart, made great by God. May your hearts expand and become greater, for we need you. Yes, we require your hearts inspired, so that earth may one day be fully free. Loving you as my holy brothers and sisters on our path of divine light, I am Afra. I don't think that this book has gotten its due value upon our planet yet. Of our 3 or 4 or 5 major books, this one has not sold as much yet. So I would like to encourage all of us to promote this book. If you feel so called, secure a few extra copies and give it to someone here or there. Our heart friends in South America and Mexico, I believe, are working on the translation into Spanish. And because Afra is beyond skin color, this book speaks to all cultures. And I believe especially to the downtrodden. So read it, digest it, assimilate it, and then share it. And let's make Afra's name a household name. Let everyone realize that Afra works very closely with Saint Germain. His Ascension Day is November 1st, All Saints' Day. And he is invested and involved in the promulgation of truth, both to all Afrans, or people of descent from Africa, and all mankind. He doesn't limit his impact or effect to simply those of the African races. I love him, and we revere the work that he does, the light that he bears, and the essence that he continues to manifest around the world. So thank you for promoting and marketing and sharing the messages within this beautiful book.